Hey guys, I want to tell you about the case of Todd Kendhammer. This is a photo of Todd and Barbara Kendhammer. They were married 25 years at the time of her death. But first, I want to say this. I am really glad that YouTube reinstated my access to my channel. I think that's great. And I hope that they do the same with my other channel too. I think that would be really good. I think it'd be a really good message for the people who were misusing the YouTube platform to try to, I guess, scam some money off of their subs or something. But it is what it is. I'm just really glad that YouTube reinstated my access because that's the right thing to do. And now they can do the right thing and reinstate my other channel too. So here's the case of Todd Kendhammer. Todd and Barbara, by all accounts, including Barbara's, had a very happy marriage. They were very close. They met 28 years before her death while they were both in high school. And Barbara was actually dating someone else, and Todd just kind of, hung out in the wings waiting for that relationship to fall apart, and then he stepped right up. So they got married. They had two perfect children, a boy and a girl. Jordan and Jessica, I think, are their names. And they seriously had a great life going on. They had a great marriage going on. Well, the morning of Barbara's death, Todd says he was driving her to work. She worked up at the school in the kitchen. She had a good job, a lot of close friends that she worked with. And he, I think, was working the night shift that night. But the couple was planning their annual big camping adventure where all their friends and family members joined them. So Barbara was busy that morning getting everything set, the last minute preparations for the big camping trip. And they were going to take off and set everything up. And then I guess Todd was going to return and go to work, or he was going to call in sick. I think he said he was going to call in sick. Anyway, so according to Todd, he's driving Barbara to work, except the thing is they were heading in the wrong direction, so that doesn't make sense. So then Todd said that he was going to go check out a windshield replacement, whatever that he did as a side job. That's what he said to explain why they were headed north instead of south or whatever. And then he was going to drop Barbara off at work. According to Todd, all of a sudden a big metal pipe came flying off of a big truck that passed by, and it went right into their windshield and it struck Barbara. Well, Todd had a problem with changing stories, according to the investigators, because he got his story all screwed up about where they were headed. But here's the thing. I'm not so sure that he screwed up his stories. I think what may have happened, is that he was in such shock. He was experiencing such a serious trauma that I don't think the words that came flying out of his mouth made sense a lot of the time. And rightly so. So they investigated him, and I'll just give you this one example about what I think about the investigation. The day before Barbara's funeral, the investigators called Todd and said that they needed him to come down to the police station to look at the videos that they had from the bank, I think, to see if he could help them identify the truck that lost the metal pipe that flew into the windshield that killed Barbara. So Todd went ahead and, jumped in the car and drove right down to the police station. But they didn't really have any videos for him to look at. In fact, what they had was a search warrant for his house. Okay? So think about it. If they had a search warrant for his house, and if they were lying to him about why they wanted him to come to the police station, then that means he was a suspect. And if he was a suspect, then that means, I think, in my opinion, that the first thing they should have done, besides being truthful with him, was to read him the Miranda warning. Within just the first couple of minutes, Todd told the investigators that he hadn't taken his medication yet that day. And it sounded like he hadn't gotten any sleep, and it sounded like he probably wasn't eating properly either. And he was shaking, he was crying, he was at some points almost incoherent even. He was stammering to get the most simple words out, and he didn't make sense a big part of the time. Well, that's the interview that they used at his trial to try to make it appear as if he was just lying and making up stories. I look at that interview video and I think that man needed medical help right then and there. He needed medical help. And in fact, at one point within, I think it was about 20 minutes into the video, one of the investigators said to him, "Breathe, Todd, breathe," because Todd was having difficulty breathing. And they kept right on asking questions, of course. So here's the thing. Todd was convicted of killing his wife. I think he might be innocent. I do. I think he might be innocent. So there's an appeal going on right now. Well, actually, what there is an extension of the time frame that Todd's lawyers need in order to file the appeal. And in fact, there have been a few extensions. I think they're on their fifth one or possibly their sixth extension right now. And they have until January of 2020 to get the appeal filed. So I think that'll be a very interesting appeal to read for sure. So what do you guys think about this case? I'm curious if you think that there's a possibility that Todd was telling the truth about a metal pipe flying across the road after falling off of a big truck and then going right into the windshield and then fatally injuring his wife. Let us know what you think in the comment section below.